Next year's draft is undeniably weaker than the draft we just had, and the overall depth of the class is definitely lacking compared to the 2026 and 2027 drafts. It doesn't help that many of the top guards will most likely use their redshirt year and enter the 2026 draft instead, but there are some players that I think will surprise people and do a lot better than expected. One of those players is Maddie Westbeld. How high she is picked will most likely depend on which teams have what pick, which I will get into towards the end of the video, but I believe she will be the steal of the draft. Mark my words. If she falls out of the draft lottery, this is something teams will heavily regret in the future. Her skill set and play style is perfect for the WNBA. I would even argue the way she plays is more suited for the WNBA compared to college. She's a three-level scorer who has good handles for her size, good post moves, and sneaky playmaking ability. Dorka Juhas fell to the second round in the 2023 draft and has proven to be one of the best players in her draft class. History is repeating itself. This is a player where the stats do not tell how good she is. 15-9 doesn't sound too special, but she is playing on a team that's loaded with future first-round picks, so her usage rate and shot attempts are not very high. Staying an extra year in college is the best decision Maddie Westbeld could have made. She will get drafted much higher next year, compared to if she came out in this year's draft class. However, I still think she will be slept on. It's likely she will fall out of the draft lottery, and in some projections she isn't even a first-round pick. Maddie Westbeld is easily the best shooting big man coming out this year. She's a 6'3" forward who shot 37% from 3 last season and 36% from 3 during her college career. To put this in perspective, Anissa Morrow is the only other WNBA-level post player who consistently shoots threes. The highest she ever shot was 25% from 3. When you look at the post players from the last 2 drafts, Maddie's three-point percentage would be the second highest, only behind Alyssa Peely. A post player who can shoot the 3 is one of the safest bets in the WNBA. A forward that can stretch the floor is something that will always be valuable. Now you're probably wondering, why in the world is someone that is so good at shooting threes is routinely left wide open? There's a couple reasons for this. The first reason being is that she is very good moving off the ball, which is why it's important for her to go to a team that has an elite playmaker. The second reason is, it's because Westbeld is a true 3-level scorer. If the defender gets too close, she can drive to the basket. If she's not able to blow by them, she can use her height to make a contested mid-range. Maddie is a good 3-point shooter, but where she's really dangerous is in the mid-range area. The NBA is trying to kill the mid-range shot, but it's still very live and well in the WNBA. Many of the top scorers in the WNBA utilize the mid-range game, and Westbeld will be effective in this area as well. Her ability to pull up and shoot fadeaway mid-range shots at her size is something that will translate to the WNBA level. Westbeld is also a very good interior paint defender. She's not on the level of Cameron Brink or Cardoso, but players have to work to score on her in the paint. She is tall enough to stop smaller guards that try to drive on her, and she's strong enough to where post players can't move her around easily. I would not call her an elite defender, but she's a good enough defender to the point where she won't be hunted by the opposing team's post player inside the paint. Whatever production she gives on the offensive end won't be offset by her giving the points right back to the other team. On top of being a good defender, Maddie Westbeld is a very good passer. This is by far the most underrated part of her game. She is able to recognize when a player is open in the corner or when someone is cutting to the basket. This is something that will be extremely important to her transition to the WNBA. Westbeld isn't the fastest or most athletic player, so her passing will allow her to get out of situations where she's unable to score. Teams with good shooters and guards that move well off the ball will be a great fit for Westbeld, as she will be able to hit them for easy shots. Earlier I mentioned that Maddie Westbeld did not shine as much as she could have because of her low usage rate. This hurt her in terms of individual awards and stats, but it's actually an advantage when going to the league. She's already used to other players being the go-to scorers, and is used to finding ways to create opportunities without being a ball-dominant player. She will have a clearly defined role as a stretch 4, rather than struggling to find her identity as a role player. Maddie Westbeld has a lot of upside. However, if there's something that should give GMs pause, it's her perimeter defense. She's going to get exposed in switches. Quick and shifty guards are going to tear her up in a pick and roll. Whoever drafts her needs to make sure their guards fight over the screen, because if she switches on a player like Jewel Lloyd or Kennedy Carter, she's going to get cooked like a Sunday dinner. However, I think the upside is still high enough for her to be an effective player. The key to her success will be going to the right team. The Dallas Wings worry me a lot. It's equally an amazing but terrible fit at the same time. Sabally would be the perfect player for her to learn and develop under. But the problem with Dallas is that the younger players rot the bench unless they are forced to play because of injuries to other players. If the Dallas Wings don't get a top 2 pick, I would not be remotely surprised if they took Westbeld, regardless if her minutes would potentially be limited. They have a history of drafting players higher than expected, so it would be in character for them to use a lottery pick to get her. The ideal scenario would be the Indiana Fever. Notre Dame is a fast-paced transition team like Indiana. Caitlin Clark will give Westbeld a bunch of open looks that she will be able to knock down. She would basically be doing the same thing as Katie Lou Samuelson, but you can hope she can do it better. If the Mystics are able to land Paige Beckers with the first pick, they would want to find a player to pair around her with their other first-round pick. Westbeld and Sarah Strong have a similar playstyle, so if Paige Beckers has great chemistry with Sarah Strong, they should consider drafting Maddie. After that, it gets a little tricky predicting where she might land, but if a team is willing to utilize her, they will be getting a massive steal. She's been the glue for Notre Dame for the last 4 years, and there's still a lot of untapped potential left. That's it for this video. Comment down below who you think will be the steal of the draft. As always, thanks for watching.